Well, all right, let's talk Jaxson Dart, who has been a fun watch when we've seen him on the field, whether you're a Giants fan or a neutral. There's been some good, there's been some bad, sometimes both on the same play. Ultimately, a historic collapse, really, by the Giants in the fourth quarter, so we will get into what went wrong there. Also talk about, hey, to collapse, you have to do some good things, so we'll talk about the good things they did early on and kind of where you go from here if you are the Giants. So first, you have the play you see on your screen where you're going to have a few notable routes, but essentially there's two that are a little bit shallower that are going to kind of try and hold Denver Broncos players shallow, and then you have a more over-the-middle route. It's on 2nd down and 10, so you don't need the first down, but hey, if you have a play that you think can get the first down, why not run it, right? Dart takes the snap, and I'm going to be honest, I think this is really what I would have liked to see him look towards. You want to see him make this throw. You know, this is his read on this play. There does appear to be a window. I'm not saying it's wide open, and again, you don't get a great angle of the safety over the top, so it's possible that we just can't see it and the safety is in position. Although for Dart, he wouldn't notice that either because he is not looking down the field. He is already kind of figuring out how to navigate the pocket. So this is something I do think I want to see from Dart a little bit more, is when he is in the pocket, keep his head up instead of he's sometimes a little quick to look to run. That being said, watch why he is quick to look to run. He's going to get outside the pocket, eventually scramble. Now he gets his head back up and sees, hey, I have kind of a one-on-one matchup situation here. Why not take it? Watch this great throw from Dart, and they're able to pick up a big completion there. So, hey, as the offensive coordinator, you're not too mad when the quarterback doesn't fully see the play as designed, but then still make something work. Of course, you still want to not have to rely on making crazy plays like this consistently, but it does, it's good that he can do that, right? Very good that he can do that. So, fun stuff there. That's why I say he's a fun watch. And also, there are just plays like this, where this is going to be a 1st down and 10 situation right here. They're in enemy territory. Dart is going to take the snap, and you're going to see that there is pressure up the middle. So unlike that last play where he's, kind of get his head down too early, now he has to pay attention to the pressure. That's what he has to do. However, watch him navigate this pocket well, then fires downfield. He keeps his head downfield, which he does very good. Once he's moving, he doesn't just keep his eyes down, right? I critiqued him putting his eyes down too early, but he'll put his eyes back up. Here, he kept his eyes up the whole way, and because of that, spotted a blown coverage and got a touchdown. Again, bad defense by the Broncos to let someone loose, but hey, you got to take advantage, and a good play to take advantage by Jaxson Dart. So definitely some volatile plays here, but ultimately plays that are working. This play was just a fun one, so this is going to be a 1st down and 10. It's just a handoff, so okay, well, why am I showing a handoff if it's a Jaxson Dart video? Well, look, so you see that it's going to be Hufanga blitzing off the edge, is looking to make a play on running back right here, Tyrone Tracy, who is going to get the ball. And for Jaxson Dart, I don't know if I've ever seen a quarterback do this before, but watch Dart lower the shoulder and help make a play on that. That run goes for less yards if he doesn't do that, almost certainly. Ended up being an okay run. Would have probably been a tackle for loss had he not done that. There's also a reason why most quarterbacks don't do this, because, hey, it's not a good idea to potentially injure yourself just to gain an extra couple of yards. Like, that's not a good strategy. Sometimes it's better to work smarter, not harder, right? But at the same time, I think as a fan of the Giants, it's part of what you like about him, right? The fact that he cares, the fact that he clearly wants to win, he's willing to take a hit to help his team win, but obviously, you don't want him to get injured trying to help his team win and ultimately hurting his team. This play was just weird, and I feel like we have to talk about it because it was such an important play in the game. So 3rd and 17 with 10 minutes left. It's a game at this point. It's an 11-point game, so you're thinking you really want to at least get some points on the board. And watch this. They run the old bobbled pass for a completion down the field. End up getting a touchdown on that play, actually. I can't show the whole thing for copyright reasons. It was weird because the Broncos also hit on a play like that for their touchdown. So that gave them another touchdown, made it seem like the lead was out of reach for the Giants. Ultimately, as we know, that did not happen. So let's talk about the issues. And when it comes to issues, it doesn't get much worse than this, if we're being honest. It's a 3rd down and 5 situation. They're up 10 points still. So the Broncos drove down relatively quickly, were able to get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. That's not ideal, but still, it's a 3rd down and 5. You see the Denver Broncos are showing pressure right here. See how many guys are lined up at the line on this play. Well, it's worth mentioning a player will drop back into coverage right here. So a lot of times what you do is you show pressure, but maybe sometimes instead of having a defensive back or an edge guy drop back, you have someone over the middle drop back. Quarterbacks don't always notice this stuff. And when Dart takes a snap, again, look at him and look at his eyes. He looks down quickly, navigating the pressure, and because of that, I think he just didn't pick up the player over the middle that drops back. Again, as a rookie, there's so much happening so quickly. Like, these are just kind of things you need reps for to really get down, but I think he just never noticed the player over the middle of the field drop back into coverage, and because of that, it's just, it was open past him, but it ends up being a back-breaking interception that really gave the Broncos life, allowed them to score a quick touchdown, and put them back in position where now the Giants really have to try and get something offensively. So then that brings us to here. It's a 3rd down and 8 situation. One-on-one matchup, Wan'Dale Robinson, not a bad option here, right? On a 3rd and 8. If you can convert this play, well, I don't know if you're fully able to get to the 2-minute. Probably takes 2 more plays to get to the 2-minute warning, but then you can run another play and they can't stop the clock. So now you're looking at probably about a minute left. If you go 3 and out after this, no timeouts, that would be tough for the Broncos. Instead, when Dart takes the snap, you see this is open. And in fact, this could go a long way if you can hit this completion. So you really want to hit this completion here. Ultimately, Dart just overthrows it. If that's caught, that's on the outside of field goal range as well, so that could potentially help. It's a play you wanted to see him make there, and ultimately, again, was it him? Did the receiver slow down at any point? You never know with the broadcast angle, but ultimately, a play that the Giants weren't able to hit on. Now, heading over here, I will say, this was a very good play by Jaxson Dart. This is a 4th down and 19, so you don't expect much in this situation. Dart's going to take the snap. He's going to have to, it's a bit of a low snap too. Good job to hold on to it. He's going to have to navigate the pocket. Look at how he's throwing this. He's throwing this off balance. He does see a little bit of a window downfield. And as you see, this is caught. And it's worth noting, this was a 1st down, actually. Live, I was like, I feel like it wasn't a 1st down, but there's a roughing the passer penalty, so it didn't really matter. That was kind of what I thought live. However, the marker is wrong. What's on the screen, that yellow marker, as you've heard people say a million times, is not official. And it's actually, they're trying to get right to the 45-yard line, which I think the Giants actually do. So I do think that was the correct call. I do think that should have been a 1st down, regardless of the penalty. So really good play from Dart. He then followed it up with a pass throwing into double coverage underneath, and he underthrew it, which probably should have resulted in a pick if there wasn't 2 guys to run into each other. But then there was a pass interference. The Giants scored a touchdown, and then obviously the defense lost it. Listen, the defense gave up 33 points in the 4th quarter. You can't put this all on Dart, but he helped the defense give up some of those points with that interception, right? And with not being able to ice it with some of those plays late. So ultimately, again, he's a young player. He's volatile. He's making some great plays. He's making some bad ones. And you just hope as he continues to develop, he gets more of those great plays in the mix and less of those bad plays in the mix. Again, I don't think I come away from this game saying Dart was the issue necessarily. I do think Dart was an issue late in the game. And so he's just going to have to work on fixing those mistakes. And you kind of see with a game like this that goes horribly wrong, the silver lining is it's a great learning moment for young players of, me making that mistake early that I kind of thought wouldn't be that big of a deal ended up costing us a football game. So now I have to really lock in the 4th quarter for games down the road. You'd rather it not end up being a learning. You wish the field goal at the end for the Broncos was missed, and it could be a learning moment that you still win the game on. But ultimately, not always how it goes. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Jaxson Dart and his performance. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.